What's up, guys? Welcome to the Jam Podcast. What a phenomenal episode that we had regarding Why Should I Get Married? That was only part one. What you're about to listen to now is part two. And if you thought part one was fire, wait until you listen to part two. Make sure you grab your pen, your pencil, and your piece of paper. Take all the notes as you can write down, as fast as you can write down. These couples and this specialist are dropping some dimes for us. So I know for a fact you guys are going to enjoy this episode. Tune in, lock in, do what you ever got to do to make sure you listen to this episode. Always, thank you guys for listening to the Jam Podcast. Remember, stay fit, fix your finances, and keep the faith. Enjoy.
Well, yeah, hold on. Hey, let me jump in. And what everybody's saying, that's real cute, guys. All them storybook answers and all that. Let's just keep it 100. I am somebody in my younger years, I wore my heart on my sleeve. Anything let me touch them, I was in love. But as I, hold on. Let me talk. We talking about that's your experience. Let me talk about mine. That's your experience, sir. Let me talk about mine. Now, for me, I was dating, particularly I was dating abroad when I was in the military, and she aesthetically was fantastic. She was the girl of my dreams aesthetically. But the problem was that outside of physical attraction and just like we really didn't have a whole lot going, and I just couldn't trust her. And I simply told her, babe, I can't trust you. And every time you go to Walmart, you got them in your face. I'm gonna need you to fight some of that off. You feel me? So that let me know that's you're attention seeking. So the next person I dated is my current wife. We started dating, and we are not like-minded at all, but we have a lot of the same qualities as far as what we want in life, how we want to build a life, what we want to do, ambition as far as finances go, how we want to raise a child. We've been open-minded together. And as we continue to date and talk and get to know each other, for me, it was like, I think this person is very suitable for a wife. She has all the qualities for a wife that I would look for myself. She's trustworthy. She's honest. We've had some hard conversations over the years. We've had some honest conversations with each other over the years. You know what I mean? It's hard for some people, and even me. Some of the difficult conversations that we've had over the years are telling me about myself. Because, in your mind, I'm good. I don't need, but at the same time, when you're dating somebody or you're especially wanting to marry somebody, listening to what they have to say, I had to get over that. We struggled mightily probably those first 5 years with me listening to what she had to say. I would just want to get my point across and then we good. But that's not how it works. I had to really work on me listening to what she had to say. And when I started listening, our relationship gotten better. And the more I started listening to her, the more I started understanding her, our relationship started to blossom. So I think a lot of the issues she was talking about right now, there's a lot of infidelity. I was talking about a lot of infidelity in marriages. And a large part of that, I personally think, is because people are not listening. They found themselves bored in that relationship or in that marriage, and now they're stepping outside that marriage instead of getting to re-know that person that they decided to marry. So that's just my little spit. Now y'all can go on and say what you're gonna say.
So Trey, I'll ask you this. Hold on, Trey, I'll ask you this. So you said it's because they're not listening, but is it that the spouse or that person is not saying the right thing, right? But because like you said, like your wife was telling you what you didn't want to hear. You thought that it wasn't the right thing, but it was, and plus you had to grow into that, right? And so I think like for me, I can say I don't mind having those men hard talks. I think me and my wife we talk about everything openly. Like there's nothing left under the rug, right? So I think like whenever she tell me something that I don't want to hear, am I pissed sometimes? Yeah, I do. I go in there and I pour me some bourbon and I think about it and I'm like, okay, you're right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like infidelity, I think, is a choice that person makes. Nobody makes you want to go out and say, I'm finna go beat cheeks on somebody else that ain't my wife. Like you personally make that choice. And my thing is, I think what we have to come as men, and I say this as us, if we are unhappy, have that conversation, make the right choices, and then leave. Don't mess with somebody else's feelings Because I think for me, that's what gets people killed. Because if you sitting out here loving somebody, I love you, love you, love you, then you got 7 or 8 side chicks out here, that lady gonna snap. And man, that's on you. That ain't on her. You know what I'm saying? So I think those are choices that as we say that we're man, make a man choice. If I feel like I need to leave, leave. Don't sit there and say I'm gonna dabble here, dabble there, whatever the case may be. But like I said, that's just my 2 cents.
Let me hear something from the Wells family.
So knowing, I was kind of listening to what everybody else had to say. Something that Patrice really said earlier kind of stuck with me. If somebody asks you if you want to marry, I mean, you have to think about it or be like, hey, I wouldn't be ready to do this tomorrow. You know, it might not be the right thing. I was thinking about that, and Emily and I, we met each other. And then I'm in my mid-20s. She's, a couple years younger, or a year and a half younger. But it's like at that age, I wasn't looking for anything that wasn't necessarily serious. So, I didn't want to waste my time or date just to date. Just because, I don't know. I mean, if it's not the right one, I feel like I would just be wasting time, emotions, money, etc. on, just whoever. And I'd already, I dated a few people, and like was alluded to earlier, I had learned things that I didn't want, etc. So, if you're from Murfreesboro, and a few of you guys are, we're at that Italian restaurant. They're on the square on the corner. We're there, and this is like a first date type thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, she loves the Lord. She's drop dead gorgeous. She's super athletic and lifts. I'm like, man, there's a lot of boxes getting checked. I was like, I'm gonna have to pump the brakes here because I'm ready to jump in. And so, but it did. I mean, ours went faster than probably normal. But yeah, anything you want?
I mean, I think we were looking at rings in like 2 weeks, so he didn't pump the brakes.
I attempted to pump the brakes. They might not have been working.
You went in overdrive, didn't you?
Maybe. Hey, listen, but like it was the right one. So that's kind of what we were trying to discuss earlier. How do you know that? Is like, wow, like thank you. Like this is amazing.
You just know, Like I don't really know how to explain that if you haven't experienced it. Like I don't know. You just know.
Yeah. You date some people and you're like, oh man, you got this check in the back of your mind. It's like, oh no, like yeah. So I had none of that stuff, and it wasn't just like rose-colored glasses. Like, oh man, But it's Anyways, it's great. So
no, and that's another thing I've heard people say is once they did find that person, it didn't take them long to commit to that person. So I'm finding like and that's even like, I mean, if you want to go deep, it's even throughout the Bible too. But we can touch on that another time. But that's been a common pattern that I've heard people that's been married 20 plus years, 30 plus years is like, yeah, I knew she was the one, and we got married in like 2 or 3 months. Like I was like, that fast? But that you guys said the same thing. That tends to be the common trait that I'm seeing. It's like intuition tells you this is the person, and then once you know that person, it's like you're acting upon that person. Like I'm gonna go ahead and marry this person. It leads me to a single person like me. Like, and it's not that I don't want to get married. It's just I feel like how can I step on nobody's toes? But I feel like you at our age, and my age, I'm 42. I have to date a woman that's in a certain age bracket. Like I feel like I can't go younger than like 36, 37. Because I feel like now there's so many distractions, and now you got apps where you can just have a click of an app, you can meet people across the world. And I feel like that's kind of played an effect in some of those statistics that I've read of why marriages are so low, why there's infidelity. It's just you just have so many other women, men at the tip of your fingertip. So, Kyla, what do you think regarding that?
To your point, there's
media.
Yes. When it's so interesting because when we had our conversation, when we met over the phone, that was one of the things that I brought up, social media and the impact it has on dating, and just relationships as a whole. it's like that instant gratification that you receive. You can go on social media and like a picture, and then you feel validated by somebody, hearting your picture, right? You feel like you're on top of the world. You could get a follow request, and same effect. It's like that instant gratification and that easy like accessibility to other people. But it's like a false sense of accessibility because you don't know this person, right? You just know that they exist on this like platform. Right. So I think that interferes with how dating has shifted significantly, how we, build relationships and also how we maintain relationships. And if we're going to be very transparent, going back to the whole conversation about, infidelity, it makes that easier as well. If we're being honest, I don't know how many of you guys have, I'll do Instagram. I don't know how many of you guys have an Instagram profile, but Instagram now has a feature where it's like banish mode. I was messaging my husband today and I didn't know what I was doing. And I accidentally like pushed my thumb up, to go scroll back up. And then it went into vanish mode. So again, it's these little features that it's like little nuances that make things feel very easy to do. You get the instant gratification, it impacts the way dating looks. And then, to your point, being single, I think outside of social media, the age bracket question, right? Like if you're in a certain age bracket, what you're looking for may require you to stay within a particular age bracket when you're dating, right? So that the possibility of being in alignment with someone in terms of like relationship goals, desires, that sort of stuff, it matches, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Matt, anything on that you want to push out?
Man, but for me, marriage, I did not have the example growing up. And so I was running the streets ragged for a long time. Even when I joined the military, and what put me in a position to slow down was finding the right woman, right? And she came with standards, bro. That's what hit me. Like she knew what she wanted. She knew she was raised well. Mom, dad, like poured values and principles in her. So when I came around, even with the baggage I had, she was like, look, basically, if you cannot align yourself with what I'm bringing to the table right now, then don't even waste your time. And that kind of like made me think a whole lot about life, because I wasn't thinking about marriage at all, bro. Like I was in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna run ragged till whenever. But once again, it took the right woman who came with all the things wrapped up, ready to go. And that forced me to change, right? And for me, man, it's like I made a decision before we got married. Like if I get married to this woman, I'm gonna do it right. That was a conversation I had with myself and under God. And ever since then, it's been blessed. Now, keep in mind, that journey hasn't been perfect because there was a lot of self-work that I had to do in the process of to get to where I'm at today. And I'm still working, but I'm definitely in a better place now because I needed somebody in my life that had standards, that had morals, right? And held me accountable when I was messing up. Like a lot of people don't have the ability to handle somebody like that. So therefore they find ways to like, mess that person up, or they make all these excuses as to why they're doing certain things. But at the end of the day, you have to be real with yourself, right? You got issues. We all do. And for me, man, I'm just grateful for finding a right woman, man, that encouraged me and helped me to mature to become the man I am today.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Let's dig in there. One of the questions I got is being with, especially if you person like me, I'm coming on the dating scene or whatever, I'm gonna be with just one person for the rest of. How do you keep the love, the passion, the sweat, the bark, all of that? How do you keep that going in the marriage? Like how? It's like how you keep it spicy. Talk to him. Here come Bo.
I say, well, when I say for me, you got to keep dating. Like that's what I think. I think so many people stop doing is you keep people stop dating their spouse. My brother-in-law get mad at me all the time because I'll be in the kitchen, Dominique walk by and I smack them cheeks, and he'd be like, "Bro," but I mean, it's just little things like that you gotta know. You gotta let them know that you are still not just you know mentally attractive spiritually, but like physically too. You know, you know what I'm saying? Because look, none of us are the same that we were whenever we first met. Gained some pounds, she done gained some pounds, she had three like things happen, right? And so like
You put some weight on.
but yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling
He's the only person I know that can eat 2 or 3 plates and will not gain 1 pound.
Man, Stanley, I'm put some weight on. But like I think that's one thing that we try to do, and it might not be for everybody, but like when the kids are at school,
We do a lot of day.
yes, man, we go to lunch, we go do things, man, we spend time, and I think that's been a real big beneficial piece for us because if you give all your time to your job, to your kids, outside things, like you are going to grow a part, and so that's one thing that we do. The kids at school, we out at lunch, we doing this, da da da, da, and then we always take time, whether it's in the morning, at lunch, at night. We always talk. We always, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever the case may be, we always talk. Let us know what's on each other's mind. I might not like it. She might not like it, but I think like dating, still flirting. We flirt. Well, I flirt a bunch. I don't say I do, and so I think that's how you keep. That's how for me. I think we keep things going the way they are. Like you said, put them boots on, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
What's up?
I do think you have to keep. I do think that you have to make the other person a priority, and it can look very different. For us, it may be we sit outside on our patio and just talk. I think women tend to be more emotion driven as far as intimacy. Men tend to be more physically driven as far as intimacy goes. I think knowing what kind of drives your partner and trying to ensure that you keep that top of mind when you talk about intimacy, or you talk about keeping the flame alive. It can't just be one-sided. You know, if one person is just about the physical, well, you can't just push yourself on the person who may not be about the physical all the time. It's finding that happy median of, for one person, it may be us just spending time together, talking, rehashing our day. The other person, it may be the physical, and trying to meet each other where you're at. We always try to, every year, to try to do at least one trip where it's just me and Omar, where we do not take the kids. And I love to travel, so even if we do take the kids, then we may try to carve some time out, especially now that they're older. That may look like we get a suite. And so we can put them in the room. They go to bed. We can sit, in the living room and have a conversation, drink a glass of wine, whatever the case may be. Or if it's a hotel that has a space, a bar, whatever, we can go down and just kind of talk and connect. Our kids are at the age now where we would feel comfortable, letting them just kind of stay in the room while we go and do something with just us. But it's always been important to me anyway that the kids would never take priority over our relationship, because I know that there will come a day, if we've done our job right as parents, that they will leave and they will go and be productive citizens, and we will be left alone. And I don't want to be looking across the room like, who is this person? And I don't know him, or man, I wish my kids was back here, because I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do now because my kids are gone. So that's always been a priority. I love my children for sure. Obviously I would give my life for them, but we try to be very intentional that they understand that our relationship comes first. We're going to make sure they have what they need, but they're not going to pit us against each other. They're not going to be able to come between the bond that we have stood before God and said that, is important to us, and that we're in it for the long haul.
Aaron, you look like you got something.
I mean, could mix perfectly what Wardell and Patrice just said. That would be like us, basically. I mean, early on in marriage, we were broke. And so we tried, we'd date as much as we could when we could. But when we moved overseas, it was like, hey, we wanted to go out and do something. And then it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to pay that sitter like $80 to go out for the night. And it's like, man, wow, this date just like tripled in cost. So, but the conversations, like we have already said, I do tend to be, more physically attracted, and she's more emotionally and conversationally, and I've learned a lot from her. So like I was not the best communicator early on, and I think I've become a better communicator as we've gotten older. I mean, I still think she's super hot. She accused me earlier of only thinking about like one thing all the time. And I was like, that's not remotely true. It might be half or three-fourths of the time, but not all the time. Like, but at the same time, that's my wife, right? Shouldn't that attraction be there? Like, you didn't marry somebody like, man, you're one of the plainest regular people I've ever seen. Let's get married. No, I think she's beautiful. So yeah. You think?
Hey, Aaron, it's so funny because my wife, she get mad at me about that stuff too. And I'm like, one day I'm gonna stop doing all this. And then man, you gonna be mad. How about, hold on, wait a minute. Does he not look at me the same way? No, I'm just old now. I can't do that stuff no more.
Man.
All right,
Well,
man, what you got?
well,
Go.
well, I think to keep it spicy. I mean, it's very challenging when you got a busy schedule. I know everybody's busy, and sometimes you got to plan those moments, especially when we got children activities going on. You got to plan it out. But every now and then, you get an opportunity to be spontaneous. Don't pull that baby oil out. You know what I mean? One time, put them gangster boots on one time. You know what I'm saying? Go and get their sugar walls going. You feel me? Yes, sir. One time. And I think for us though, because our schedule is the way it is, we're able to plan so many different things and opportunities to kind of spend time together and kind of get that physical retreat that we need. And it's gotten a lot better, definitely, as time goes on. Because again, I'm about the physical, and baby, stay right. She stay looking right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know what I need to do to get her where she needs to be on that mental capacity, because she needs that mental stimulation at times. I can't just go in there like the gorilla. You know what I mean? Like that 19-year-old me, I can't do that. I gotta give her what she needs to get her right. But once we get that opportunity to get there, oh,
Jokes aside, I think you really just hit something on the head. I think making sure that your spouse is in the right headspace, right? Just making sure they're like not stressed out, none of that stuff. I think making sure that they understand that they are in a good spot actually helps them become more what's called spicy, or whatever the case may be. Because if they're sitting here stressed out about the kids, the work, everything, like you can't come in there with them boots on because it ain't nothing happening. You know what I'm saying? So like I think making sure that one that he what's kind of emotional part of it is a big piece, but I think the headspace of mentally understanding being taken care of is a real big thing too.
I want to piggyback off of that because that's a good point. Just the mental space, right? So a lot of times when I work with couples, and even I'll speak for myself, as a wife, there's that mental load that sometimes one spouse is carrying, right? Like the other spouse is out in the world doing their thing. Not that the spouse with the mental load isn't doing their thing. They're doing their thing too. But that mental load in terms of how the household functions weighs down a person, right? So if you come home, I'll speak from the standpoint of being a woman. If you come home and you're like, you want to get spicy, it's hard for a woman to like shut that off and just be fully in tune with that physical aspect, because she might be thinking, okay, well, we have to, do the laundry. We one of the kids is sick, so we have to schedule a doctor's visit. We're traveling soon. We got to make sure that everyone is, is in order for traveling. So it's the mental capacity is a good point. That's a great point.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. All right. We're running close to out of time, so I want you just go. I want to go around the room. Okay, you take about 2-3 minutes each, but some final tips for those that are contemplating marriage. Like, what would you say to them? And Mac, you can jump in on this too.
My final tips would be your marriage is if you decide to get married, your marriage is your marriage. It's not anybody else's. And so don't look and worry about what other people are doing. Whatever you and your spouse have to do to make your marriage work is what you have to do to make your marriage work. Marriage is very personal. It's unique. I know my brother had mentioned earlier that marriage is work. I have always said, and I still say, to me, it is not. It is that probably one of the easiest relationships that I have to navigate, because I think our alignment is such that we can say what we need to say to each other. And we say it from a place of, I don't ever want to say anything that I feel like I will regret. So I try to choose my words very wisely and very intentionally, to try to get my point across without saying something to just be mean or to be hurtful just because I'm mad or I'm upset or I'm angry. And I spoke earlier about previous relationships, and I learned that in those relationships. And so I've carried that with me in my marriage to try to be very intentional about the things that I say. And even if I'm upset, to strive really hard not to say something that I will regret or that will hurt him, that even though I can apologize, that hurt would probably still stay with him. That I don't want to say anything that no matter how much I apologize or how much I try to make it right, it would be hard to come back from it. And I would say too, with marriage, going in it with the intent of it being forever. Don't go in with the intent, even though we know divorce is an option and it is something that you absolutely can take advantage of. And there are some circumstances where that may be, the answer. But I would really encourage people to not go in thinking that if it does not work out, I can get divorced, and not going in with the intent of nurturing and cultivating that relationship. I think those are the words I would use instead of work, that you're nurturing it and you're cultivating it. Honestly, think rearing children. That's the work in marriage. Is rearing the children. I don't know if you have any.
I would say for me, it's Aaron touched on this earlier about being selfish. Excuse me. And as a person and as a spouse, learning to become selfless and doing things that, like, perfect example. If it were up to me, our bed would never get made up, right? She likes the bed being made up. So sometimes it's like, I don't really care about this bed being made up, but I'm gonna go make the bed up because she wants the bed made up, and not making an issue out of it, or finding that thing that you probably don't care about that your spouse does, and kind of helping them with that. So life is easier for that person and for them, and it just I think it makes things smoother, and it helps with their mental, their headspace, and that's just one less thing that they're having to worry about because you've already taken care of.
Awesome.
That's it. I'll say just continue working as a team and always supporting your spouse, whatever they, want to do. Like for me, my husband allowed me to quit my job. I've been a stay-at-home mom and wife of 7 years. And it was hard to give up that control when you have your own finances and your own life outside of your husband. So he had always made me feel comfortable with knowing that he has my back in everything that I do. So I love the fact that he just is always there for me and will always support no matter what I got going on, even if it's just the smallest thing, like I got too much laundry on my plate, or I may not feel like cooking today, or he may want to go pick up the kids and let me lay in the bed sometimes. So he just has been there for me.
I think I'll say one to anybody, and this is something that when we went through our premarital counseling, the guy asked us, is what's called a man 50-50 okay? And so he said no. He said because 50-50 means you got what's called a 50% somewhere else that man you could give to a man something else. And so one of the things I say to anybody that's going to talk about marriage and thinking about marriage is, can you give your full self 100% to that person every day for the rest of your life, just like my sister said. And if there is any type of thought there, then you probably need to rethink about what you're doing. Because marriage, to me, and this is my thought, marriage to me isn't what's called a 50-50. Marriage is 100, even everything, all the time, every day. And then, like she just said, it's going to be days to where you got to pick up the slack. You know what I mean? It's going to be days where, and like she said, you got to go do this, you got to go do that, ABC. And man, what's called a vice versa. So I say, like, for me, Brother Fleming, when he talked to us about that, there was a really big change in my thought process, because we was always taught marriage is what's called 50-50, right? 50-50. When he said that, it was like, you know what? 100, that's the only way to go, because that's the only way that you're going to give everything to your wife, to your kids, to your family, whatever the case may be. So that's what I would say to you, Warren. You know what I'm saying? Out here trying to look and trying to deal with it. But when you find that one, if you can say that, Hey man, you probably got you one right there, cuz.
Yeah. Send all the applications to www.board.com. I better quit. I'm gonna get well, family.
Wardell took almost everything that I was thinking, which if both of us were thinking the same thing, there's got to be some truth in it for sure. It's got to be 100 because, like Dominique said, we've lived the vast majority of our marriage with me being a sole provider. But at the same time, she works twice as hard as I do every day. So it's not like, and Dominique probably know the same thing. And Quintrice, I don't know your status there, but she's like busting her errand every day to make sure that all the things are taken care of, where I just go to work. And I'm not putting either one of us down or elevating one over the other, but it's got to be 100 because when I come home, she could be working hard all day, but still, hey, I need help with this, that, and that. And I can't say, well, oh, I did my 50 today. I went to work, so I need you to do all that other stuff, and I'm just gonna chill. Like that marriage is heading for a divorce. But so I agree with what you guys said for sure. The other thing I really wanted to say, that my second point was, I don't know any of y'all's relationship with the Lord necessarily, but I mean, Emily is a gift to God for me, and I haven't always stewarded that the best. I've messed up in our marriage. I know all of us have, but she is a gift to me from God. And if I love God and love her, and I want what's best for her, I think our marriage will be able to stand. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I think I've covered it all. Not much else you can say after that.
That's awesome. Miss Kyla.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, you hit the nail on the head, each of you. You brought up some good points. I think the only thing that I would add is, recognizing that marriage is a choice, and every day you're waking up and making that choice consistently. You're choosing this person. You're choosing to love this person. You're choosing to show up for this person. And to your point, 100, I agree. When I hear 50-50, I think it just doesn't make sense. It's not logical. When you look at the way that marriage is structured, it just doesn't work. And, to Aaron's point, when you look at it from a 50-50 position, your marriage is headed for failure. It has to be 100. Both of you are dedicated and invested in the same way. On top of that, I would say, your partner is the person that you chose and also the person that loves you. So in instances where, because marriage is that one relationship where the mirror looks at you, like it's pointed at you and all your flaws, all your shortcomings, all the things that you're not good at, it's listed. Right. And you start to have those conversations. And we talked about that earlier on. And some of those conversations are received with defensiveness. And then you grow into it and you feel more comfortable having those conversations. But in that regard, always remember that your partner, their intention is to love you, to nurture you, to pour into you. So in that sense, if they're bringing up something that feels a little bit uncomfortable or you're meeting it with defensiveness, remembering that this is your partner. You chose this person. This is your best friend. This is someone that loves you and wants the best for you. So they're going to bring up the uncomfortable conversation. That's just how marriage works, that would be my tidbit. You guys gave a lot of insight. Oh, and one more thing, and then that's it, I promise. One of the things that I always recommend for my clients to do is just check-ins. And these check-ins could be weekly, they could be monthly. It's just a time for you to sit down and assess your relationship. How are things working? How are we doing? What was one thing that I did this week that, poured into you? What's something that you would like me to do more of? Where are our finances? Where are we falling short as a couple? So those weekly check-ins kind of have those moments where you could have those very in-depth conversations that's necessary to maintain the relationship. And that's it.
Okay, real quick. How can people get in touch with you?
So you can definitely shoot me an email. I'm very good at responding to my emails. Kyla, Kyla at infinitesolutionscounseling.com. I know that sounds long. It's INFINITE solutions with an S counseling.com.
Okay, we're gonna put all your information in the show notes as well too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys.
Matt, final words.
When it comes to marriage, man, you have to touching back on what Aaron pointed out, God has to be the foundation, man. Like I'm not trying to say just to sound all deep, but it's real. Like if you want to know how to be a husband, God has the answer for you. If you want to know what a wife looks like, God has the answer for you, right? What is love? God has the answer for you, right? So for me, the person that didn't have structure or understand what a marriage should look like, God gave me all the answers. And all I do now for the rest of my life, man, is just stick to the blueprint that He laid out. You know, I think Tyler touched on this thing when it comes to social media. Like a lot of people are basing their marriage based on what they see on social media, and all that stuff is fake. It's hot trash. It's garbage, right? And they only showing you what looks good. They don't show you the struggles, the fights. You know what I'm saying? Almost getting divorced. Like they don't show you all the hardships that's behind the scenes. They only show you what looks good, right? And I'm telling you, like, in order for you to sustain and keep a marriage going, man, God has to be in the midst of it. All right. So that's my message to whoever is listening, man. Make God part of your marriage and you'll be straight.
Awesome. That's powerful. Mo, final thoughts, real quick.
Man, my final thought, man, I think everybody touched on some really good points. But I'd say initially, looking to get married, you need to ask some serious questions in that courting phase. What's your credit score? How many kids do you want? What's your politics? Do you even believe in God? Do you have an OnlyFans? You know, these are questions we need to ask people, because these are stuff once we find out in those marriages. Man, I've been with this girl for 5 years. I didn't even know she didn't believe in God. Or I didn't even know that her family wasn't Christians. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. These are things that in marriages. And you need to have these discussions up front. How many children do you want? You know, you with somebody, a personal experience, I know the person who was dating a man, and, you know, they were engaged and she wanted to get pregnant. She didn't know after 6 years of dating this person, he had a vasectomy. He never told her. So obviously she was devastated when she found out. So we need to have these conversations with people when we're dating them. Inside the marriage, you want to love and support and care and be each other's rock while you're in the marriage. But there's some very difficult questions you need to find out up front before you waste all your time.
Yeah. No, Kyla, we really appreciate you coming on. Wells family, Smiths, awesome. Y'all dropped a lot of fantastic nuggets. For all of y'all listening that are married, I mean, they gave some great insight. We look forward to your feedback. Those of y'all like myself who are unmarried, they gave a lot of good feedback as well too. You got to take those notes. So we really appreciate y'all coming on the jam session. Hope to get y'all back sometime in the future, possibly do a part 2. I didn't get to go through all the questions, but we're hitting that hour and a half mark, and I know it's getting late and we got to work tomorrow. But I really appreciate y'all. Like I said, if you're looking to get married, listen to this episode. You got a lot of good nuggets. But hey, appreciate y'all. Love each and every one of y'all. Until the next time, make sure you stay fit, fix your finances, and keep the faith. We'll see y'all next time.